You're not stuck because you're addicted. You're stuck because something in you is trying to escape. And you keep going back because it works for a moment. And that moment is what traps you because it feels like relief just long enough to convince you it's helping. But it never actually fixes what's underneath. You said you would stop. You meant it. And you weren't lying. You weren't pretending. You believed this time would be different. But when the pressure hit, you went right back. Not because you don't care, because in that moment, it feels like the only option, the fastest way to quiet what you're feeling. So now you're stuck in something that makes no sense. You want out, but you keep returning. And the more it happens, the more frustrated you get, the more disappointed you feel in yourself. And that's where it gets dangerous. Because now it's not just the behavior, it's the weight you carry after it. Shame, frustration, confusion, and all of that feeds the cycle. This is not random. There is a reason this keeps happening. Because the behavior is doing something for you. Even if you hate it, even if you want it gone, it's giving you relief. It's helping you cope. It's helping you to avoid something deeper, something you haven't faced, something that feels too heavy to sit in. And until that is addressed, nothing changes. You can fight it, and you can resist it. You can even stop for a while, but eventually you'll come back because the root is still there. In John chapter 4, there is a woman at a well. Her life shows a pattern, 5 relationships, and still searching, still empty, and still trying to find something that lasts. And when Jesus meets her, he doesn't start with her behavior. He doesn't list everything she's done wrong. He goes straight to the deeper need, living water, because he saw what she was actually looking for, not people and not relationships, but something to fill what felt empty. That's the same pattern, just a different form. What you go back to is not the real need. It's just what you're using to deal with it. And this is where everything shifts. If you're willing to look at it honestly, not later, and not after you fix it, but right in the moment, before it happens. Because there is always a moment, right before the decision, right before you go back, where something rises up, a feeling, a thought, a weight. Most people skip that moment. They move too fast. They react, and automatically. But if you stop there and pay attention, you'll start to see it. What you're actually feeling, what you're trying to escape. And that's where the answer is. Not in the behavior, in the moment before it. So ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Not what did I do? What am I feeling? What just came up? What do I not want to sit with? Because that is the root. And if you don't face it, you will keep repeating one escape with another. Different behavior, same pattern. That's why willpower fails. Because willpower only fights the surface. It never reaches what's underneath. So eventually, what you're carrying pushes back up, and you go right back. Not because you failed, because the root was never addressed. And this is where it shifts. Not through force, and not through trying harder, but through slowing down long enough to actually see what's there without running and without numbing, without covering it up. Because healing begins when you stop escaping, when you stop avoiding, when you stop trying to outrun what's inside you, and you turn toward it and come home, back to truth and back to what is real, back to the place you've been avoiding, not to fix it immediately and not to control it, but to face it, to sit in it, and to bring it into the light, and to meet God right there. Not after you clean it up, and not after you get stronger. Right there in the middle of it. That's where change begins. That's where the pattern breaks. That's where you stop escaping and finally come home.